Wales Tourism Alliance survey from last year said that only 26% of business operators in this field felt that they would reach the 182-day threshold. Now, I know you've already said that a larger number than that did reach the threshold, but many have told me, and I'm sure you're aware, that they have to do that through heavy discounting in order to get to that 182-day requirement. So it does beg the question whether this requirement is in the right place in the first place. Is 182 the right number of days? And many of these operators have asked me to ask you whether you would commission an independent economic impact assessment, now that this policy has been in place for around 3 years, to ascertain whether 182 days is at the right level, because it can't be the intention of the policy that 3/4 of operators feel that they can't reach this target or in their normal economic circumstances. So will you commit to that independent economic impact assessment so that we can see whether this 182-day rule is at the right level?
Well, so with the actual figure, the figure validated by 2 years' worth of returns to the VOA, is at 60%, not 26%, more than twice the figure that the member quoted, have actually, in practice, met the 182-day threshold. And if people have to do it by significant discounting, then that is because there is oversupply in the market. And look, it is important just to trace what has happened in relation to short-term lets in Wales. The number of short-term lets in Wales doubled between 2013 and 2019, and there has been a further 60% rise on it since 2019. The market is oversupplied. And what the 182 days threshold does is to make sure that those businesses that are proper businesses, operating at least half the year round in terms of letting, are properly recognised as such. And companies that offer much shorter periods, and as the people who make their livelihoods out of this will tell you, are sometimes hobbyists rather than businesses, that they are not. Well, you may say that, but that's what I am told by people who work in the field. But that growth is amongst people letting their properties for very short period of times, and sometimes undercutting people who make their livelihoods out of it. What the 182 days doesn't stop anybody from letting their properties for less than 182 days. It just means you're not entitled to apply for small business rate relief, because you are not a business in the sense that I think business ought to be recognised. You have to pay council tax as anybody else would have to do. So the consultation exercise, Llywydd, offers some, I think, sensible ways of responding to anxieties in the sector. I am very open to the idea that you would have to demonstrate that you get to the 182-day threshold, not in a single year, but over a cycle of 2 or 3 years, given the cyclical and seasonal nature of tourism in Wales. But if you can't demonstrate over a cycle that you are genuinely able to let property at that level, then I don't think you are entitled to claim small business rate relief at the taxpayer's expense. And that is what this policy is about.
Laura Ann Jones.